Hey everyone, Maxime here. I just want to give you my quick thoughts on the games I played in January 2022. I played 25 different games. So let's start. We start with Legendary Encounters, an alien deck building game. So this one was really fun. I played a bunch of games. I played through all the scenario. It gives you really this alien feeling about fighting off the aliens, like maybe the Alien 2 movie, I would say. That's the feeling at least, because you're getting more stuff and trying to defeat them, and they're getting stronger and stronger. It's really nice. It's really fun game. I rate this a 7 right now. Um, I'm not sure about the replayability, so I played all the scenarios because this what gives you the replayability. But after that, you're like kind of okay, I've seen it all, so didn't felt like keeping it. I sold this one. It's kind of similar to Aeon's End. If you like Aeon's End, this kind of co-op game. So I played it solo because I think it's a really good solo game. What I disliked a little bit is this pool of cards. So basically, you get a pool of cards that you can buy, and sometimes, well, they don't really combine good together. Or late game, you have only crap that you don't want to buy anymore. So there is no mechanism to get rid of cards and so on. So it's that's the one negative point. It's not as good as Aeon's End in my opinion, but it's a solid solo or two-player game. Then we got Jump Drive. So Jump Drive is a very small game, small card game that is in the universe of Race for the Galaxy. It's a very small tableau building game. You basically use your cards as energy, and then you play other cards for that. You can always play one planet and one technology each turn if you can afford it. And the goal is to build the smallest engine, the first that has 50 points when it usually goes like 6, 7 turns max. And it's super fast and it's super fun because you get these combos and you're like, oh, I get this, I get this, oh, well, I do this, oh, I have this huge card, maybe I can play it. No, I can't. Maybe I'll just wait one turn and do nothing for one turn, but the next turn I get like a super strong card. It's just fun. It's just fun and it's super fast. Really like this one. It doesn't get much love, but I really like this one. I rate this an 8, so I really like this one. I played it so many times. Well, 77 times so far. So that's that. The next one is Dinosaur World. So Dinosaur World, I'm still I don't know about this one. I rate this a 7 right now. Played it twice actually total. It's nice. It's you build your park and then you have this jeep that you can use to like basically do a VIP tour of your park, and it gives you victory points, and it's a nice game. It's a nice game, but it's a lot to set up, and you have to do a lot of math to calculate. Okay, if I want to build this dino and this dino next turn, then I need that much and that much plus that. Oh, but can I get it? Oh, I have. Sometimes you just have to take a piece of paper and write everything down, which I don't like in games. So I don't know about this one. It's okay, but I don't know. Still not convinced I'm going to keep it. Maybe I will give it another try. Maybe I try it solo. I don't know. Then we have New York Zoo. This is a small game. It goes quite fast. We play 2-player. So basically, you're building a zoo. Well, this is your zoo. You can have animals there, and then you're gonna put polyomino shape inside of this place here, which is your zoo. And the first one that fills it wins. That's it. So what you can do is that your animals, they can go into different tiles, and then once the tile is full, you get a bonus, which is like something like an attraction, for example, and it just basically helps you to fill your board. And you always go around here, and you can move, I don't know how much, 1, 2, 3, 4, I think, or 1, 2, 3, I don't remember. You can either pick a tile or pick an animal, but when you put a tile down, you need to have an animal to put there, otherwise you can't put it down. And then after a while, some animals reproduce. For example, here I don't know the name of that animal in English, but the animals reproduce every time you pass this brown tile. So it's a cool game. It's a cool game. I really liked it. It was fun. I like polyomino games. It's a fast game. It's a simple game. As a like last game, just to finish off the knight. It's quite cool. I like it. Then we played Witchstone. This one I like also. It's a little bit. I'm not sure about player counts here. I only played 2-player games so far. So in Witchstone you're gonna basically you have your cauldron or how it's called, and you're gonna have those tiles which have always 2 symbols on them, and you're gonna always put them down, and this might trigger different actions. And based on how many symbols you have, you can have a different number of actions. For example, here he would, if he puts this tile down, for example, he would do this, so 4 times this action, and this one 2 times. And this is all the trick of the game. And then there's a bunch of different things. You can move up this track. You can put down here like pathways to connect cities. You can put down your small sorcerer meeples that will give you bonus. You can go around this track, which also gives you together. And then you have those cards that give you mostly victory points at the end of the game based on conditions. So it's a point salad game for sure. I like those. If you don't like them, pass it. Not sure about the player count. With 2 it works. Yeah, that's Witchstone. Kluster. It's a small party game with magnets. So it's you put down magnets in this rope, and then what you have to do is that every time you put down a magnet, if some magnets then go together, you have to pick them all up. And once you have no magnets in your hand, you win. So it's a party game. I'm not a huge fan of those, but this one is actually pretty cool and it's very simple. Furnace is an engine building game. I thought I would like it more. I rate this a 6. I'm not sure. It's cool. It has asymmetric player power. The bidding system is kind of cool. But I felt like everything was kind of samey, so I didn't feel like, oh yeah, I did this engine, which was great. I did an engine. I didn't remember a single card I played because they were kind of similar. Or this does that, this does also that, and this does this and this, but a little differently. So I don't know. I played it once. It was okay. Not fantastic, but it was okay. Sprawlopolis is a great game. It's a great solo game that I played again. So you have, I think, 18 cards. You grab 3 cards at random. Those will be your missions, because on the other side of each card is a mission. So there are 18 different missions that you can combine. You always pick 3, and they will give you like some conditions how you can score points, and they will also give you the number, which is the number of points you need to reach. So this will be 17 plus 4 plus 11. And then you always lay down 1 card at a time. You have 3 always visible, and then you lay the next, you lay the next, and so on. And you try to make it so that it matches the best way possible those 3 objectives that you have. And then you score points. It's a game for an 18 card game. There's nothing else. It's just the 18 cards. And then you have like a piece of paper and where you can write down your scores. So this is pretty solid. I don't know what those markers are. They're not based in the base game. It's super fast. It's super fun. It's easy. It's a great solo game. It's just a great solo game. Kingdomino. Well, Kingdomino, I played Dragomino, which is the child version, with my 4 and my 6-year-old, and now I'm playing Kingdomino with my 6-year-old. So it's cool because I can play it with him. I really like that. You basically build a 5x5 square city area, I don't know, domain, and you always pick a tile, and then based on the tile you pick, you're gonna be there on the next turn. So basically on the left side you have the lowest number tile, so those would be the weakest tile that will not grant you that much victory point. But then you have on the right side the strong tile, but they will give you a lot of victory points, but then you will be last for the next turn if you go there, because every time you pick a tile, you put your meeple down. So if that guy picks now this tile up, he will be last for the next turn, because we always go from the lowest to the highest. So that's the cool, neat trick about it. It's a good game. It's a good game. I like it. 7. Haspelknecht. It's a worker placement game. It was a good game, but I didn't feel it has anything special. I felt like, yeah, you just do things. It's about coal mining. It's you just do things, and it was okay. It's nothing special. The one neat trick about this is that you have this well areas here where you can pick up your workers, and it's not actually not your workers. It's your I think it was, I don't even remember what it is. So it's three different things. The black is for coal, and then the brown is for wood, and then the yellow is for I don't know what. But then the thing is, you can pick, but you can have a maximum of 5. And once you pick somewhere, you always have to pick everything of that color. So if I need black, but I just need 2 black, well, what can I do? I can go there, then I get 3, but I don't really want 3. Or I go there and I get 4. So maybe I pick something else. Maybe I pick the 3 yellows. And then afterwards, maybe I hope that somebody leaves some black open. I don't know. So that's the tricky part. That's the one neat trick about this game. To manage to get the right combination of color that you need. But it's not enough. For me, it's not enough. It's an okay game. It didn't do that well. I rated it a 6. Stroganov is a cool game. It's can I don't know if I can do that. So basically, it's a little bit special because you're working you're walking around. So you have 2 actions each turn. You can walk around. You always start each round. You start here, and then you can move on that side. There are different areas here that you can actually hunt on because the game's main, let's call it currency, is a furs that you use from different animals, and you can hunt them on these different areas. And then once the area is cleared, you can actually grab it to get a bunch of bonuses, and you can put the areas next to your player board. What's really neat about this game is that you always start here, and then you have to move on, and you have to calculate what first you have, and okay, what can I do next turn? Maybe I want to have this one, but can I reach this point because I need a lot of horses to go further away? It's unique. It's unique. That's what I liked. I don't want to replay this one. I didn't play really very well the first game, but it's kind of unique. So it's special. I want to play it again. So far it's a 7. Bitoku, I really like Bitoku. Bitoku is a mess on the board. When you look at the board first, you're super confused because it looks like, oh, there are a million things you can do. Well, no, you actually have worker placement spots here, here, here. It's just that all the components are put on the board. That's why it looks very confusing. So you basically, in Bitoku, you do 2 things. You have cards that do actions. So you have 3 cards that you're going to use. You're going to put them on your board, and then you can do this action. The action will be a variety of different things. There is some area control effects. There is some set collection. There is some you go through that pass here, and then you can get bonuses and victory points and so on. You can build buildings and so on. And then the second part is that every time you put a card down, you have 3 spots on your board. You free one of your dice, and that dice can then be used in one of those areas here. Those are the 4 main areas, and then there's a middle area here. But those 4 main areas are the main ones. And then you put the dice down. Let's say I put it here, and then based on the power of the die, the action will have a different power. So if I put down a 2, I just have 1 movement here. But if I put down a 3, I have 2 movements. And then once they're buildings, based on the power, you can also use a building. So that's pretty cool. So if I have put here down 5, I can use this building, which is probably way stronger than those buildings here. And then if the building is from an enemy, well, he might get a small bonus as well. The thing is, the dice you use, they're fixed. You have a 3, a 2, and a 1 dice, I think, from the start. And then you put them down, and then you can move up the river. So you basically take a dice from here and put it up here, which gives you a bonus action, which is always like taking one of the new cards that you can play, so they are stronger. You can take one of those cards, which is like another pathway that you can put on the side of your board, which gives you a lot of bonuses. Or you can do like some area control here. You see some area control it's basically you move the highest up, you get the most points on each area. There are like 5 areas, and but every time you move it up, well, you reduce the value by 1. So that means all your dice will be, if you move them all the 3 up, so they will be reduced by 1. A 1 can never move up. So there's tricks to get your dice back up in values. There are some markers that you can gain that get your values up. So which is you have to really balance between the resource that you need to build buildings and get some of the spirits and so on that give you victory point, but also get enough pips on your dice so that you can actually move up and do the action you want to do. And then the thing is, every time there is a value here, you can never put a lower value. So if there's a 6 here and I want to do here a 5 action because I have a 5, I can't as long as a 6 is here. Well, I can put it, use a building, but I can't use the main action, which sucks. So you're stuck here, and you can kind of block the others by looking at what they have and just putting your 6 down here and waiting until the end to move it up. Because once you move it up, it's free again, and you can put a 5 down again. So that's a neat trick, and I really like this game. I think the illustrations are really great. I think the flow of the game is very solid. It's a very cool game. The setup is a pain from what my friend tells me every time, but it's a very cool game. It looks super overwhelming when you look at the board, but once you understand that actually what matters is this, it's just that the components are here. So there are like the areas are here, okay, and then you have your buildings here, okay, you have your spirits here. Well, actually it's the flies and the spirits below. Then you have your enchantments or whatever they're called here, and then here's the pathway. So that's why it looks confusing, but basically you have only 5 different spots where you can put your workers on. So that's Bitoku. So far I think I rate this in 8, yes. Really good game. I played a game of Iberian Gauge. I don't know how to pronounce that. Oh, I haven't rated it so far. I rate this an 8 because I think this was super fun. And the thing is, first I thought those games are really complicated. They're 2 pages of rules. 2 pages of rules. Super simple. And actually what you do is that you're going to build railroads. Okay. The goal is to get the most money. So what you're going to be a shareholder, and there are like different kind of companies. There are 5 different colors of companies. And you see the different colors here are the different people that are playing. So for example, the red one has 1 share in here, 1 share in here, and 3 shares in here. So in the game plays that at first you buy like 1, 2 shares. So you will have 1 share here and maybe 1 share here. It has a certain value, and then you start playing from there. But then at the end of each round, there is money coming in based on the value of your company. And then if you have the share, you get the money. If there are some empty shares, then the company gets the money. So the company gets more money, and then they can invest more the next turn, because you're never paying your own money to build roads. You actually pay the money from the company, which is a little bit weird. So you have money, but you can't use it. You just can use it to buy shares. And you put money in a company and get another share, and then it's more value. It's very simple once you get the basic rules, but it's super strategic, and it's really nice for such a simple game. Probably it doesn't play very well with 3 or less players. I don't even know if you can play it with 2. But we played it with 5, and it was great. It was super fun. It was easy, and you had to think, okay, do I want to invest there, or maybe I just want to use the company's money and build some railroads that goes nowhere, just waste their money because I don't really want them because they have more shares than I have in this company. So what do I want to do? So it's a neat game. It's a neat game. I want to play it again. So far, I rate is an 8. Tabanusi, Builders of Ur. So that's a new game of the T series, like Teotihuacan, Tekenyu, and so on. I think this was I rate this a 7 so far. So the first time you play this, you will be confused, and I was so confused the first time I played it. There are a lot of small rules, and it took me half of the game to understand, okay, what's actually going on. Because there are like rules like, okay, if you put a garden down, before the building, then it might trigger something. But if the building is already there and you put the garden down, then it doesn't trigger. If I can build on plans that I did myself, that I put myself on the board, but I can also use plans from the other, and based on whose plan I use, something different happens. I have to pay more if it's my plan. I don't have to pay if it's not a player's plan, but he gets something. So a little bit confusing, but the main logic is that you put dice on each of those boats, and what's going to happen is that you're going to take a dice all the time, and then based on the number of the die, you will actually go to that region next. So let's imagine I'm here right now with my worker, so I'm working. I can use the 2 area, the action from the 2 area, and I pick a 5. So the next time I will go here, and I will be here and do those actions. So you have basically always to plan ahead and see what's available to see where you can go. And then those 3 areas are the same. You put down plans, you create buildings after a while, and then you can build some water, and then you can put on the water, you can put like gardens and stuff like that. So it's a neat system. What I'm confused about is that the scoring system is changing. So you basically, every time there are no more dice, you score this, and then you put all the dice back. So it could be that one area scores actually 3 times and another area only scores 1 time, because at the end of the game, once 5 different areas have scored, you actually score every area once. So that's also very confusing. So I want to play it again. My suggestion, if you play this game, play it at least twice to get an idea, because after 1 time it's just very confusing. I want to play it again because I think the game is actually pretty good. So that's Tabanusi. I played Bandido, small party game. It's, you basically have this bandit that tries to escape, and you basically, every time you play a card and you try to close the pass so that he can't get out. Very simple party game. It's an okay game. It doesn't work with 4 players. You cannot basically lose. It's so simple to win with 4 players. So I don't know. It's okay. Cascadia. Cascadia is a good game. Is a tile laying game. Basically, you will always have like tiles and a combination of tiles and animal, and you grab them and you put them in your areas, and then you will score based on the different animal. Each animal will score different ways, and then your areas on your map will score based on the biggest area you have. For example, yeah, you never do something like that, but he has a huge area of 3 different types, which is very difficult to do normally. And then the animals, they score in a different way each time. It's a very easy to learn game, and it's actually quite strategic, and it's super fun. I really like this one. As a small game, it's 7 right now. I didn't play that much, but I think this might go up to 8. It's really good. Then I played Imperial Steam. Imperial Steam is a great game right now. Rate is 9. I think it's one of my favorites of 2021. So in Imperial Steam, it's a rails game. So you build railroads, and you basically have to try to connect to the main city of Trieste, which is I think here. And then there's a lot going on. You need to get goods. You can buy them from the market. You need to build like roads, rails. Actually, you need to build rails. You can build like factories that you can then use to produce goods. You have a worker system where your workers, if they're not used, they get stronger the next year. So basically they start here. If they're not used, they get there. If they're used, they go up, and then they go down. So they stay at level 1. You have 3 levels of workers. You have your trains here where you can add wagons to it. You can change your wagons into passenger wagons that will grant you money every turn. It's a very hard game, but it's so much fun. I really like it. I really like it. I want to play it again. So far I rate this a 9. It's if you need to like heavy game, and sometimes you do one wrong turn, you do one mistake, and it can throw you the game. It's really, really hard in that way. So, but it's super fun. I really like it. And that's Imperial Steam. Yeah, here's an example of all the ways you can build. And so, for example, he goes there and there, and then the different areas give you some either some bonuses or some ways to. Here he could deliver. When you deliver some goods, you get a tons of money back. You can also have some areas where you can add additional factories and stuff like that. So it's a really good game. Then I played Tharos. So Tharos looked pretty cool when I saw it. I could get it for cheap, so I'm like, oh great, I try this out. Well, didn't I have? Yeah, I didn't have this picture maybe. So you have those cards, which is the domain, and then there will be a lot of stuff in here like resource and stuff like that, and you can build some additional resource, and it's basically 5 mechanisms they put together, but they are not intertwined, so they're like independent from each other. So you can do A and then A and then B and then C, and you don't need to do A and A to do B or something like that. And this, I really didn't like it at all. At all, it was super boring. I thought the mechanism were like, oh yeah, you have to first do this and then you can build this, and no, not at all. It's just 5 mechanisms randomly put together, and they're just using the same cards. That's all. I really didn't like this one. I put it on 5. It was an okay game, but it's kind of disappointed in this one. Moving on, Marvel Champions. Yeah, Marvel Champions, one of my favorite games. I rate this a 10. This is an awesome cooperative game. The reason why I rated a 10 probably is because I played this with my son. He's 6-year-old. We started playing this. First, I was playing and I was explaining what I was doing. I was playing it basically solo. But now he just gets his deck, and then sometimes there are some cards he doesn't know, so I have to explain them to him. But then he's like, "Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna do this," and he remembers almost all the cards. It's crazy. And we played it. I played it 5 times this month. He played with Black Panther. Do I have a good picture? Well, he played with Black Panther at first, and then he changed to Ant-Man, which is super cool. I played with Hawkeye, which is super weak, but very, very versatile and does tons of damage. And now I'm playing with Captain America. So I have tons of cards with this. I bought almost every expansion. If you like cooperative game, battle system, without campaigns, so not like 20 missions, we like to play one game. And I like the enemies that are simple, where you don't have to do a million things and set up and so. We just grab one enemy, add some of the modules in it, and we start the game. That's what we do. And it's very good because you can build so many different decks. And if you like card games, basically, and you like co-op, this is great. It's just great. And I'm a fan of Marvel, so that's the top of it. So it's really awesome game. That's Marvel Champions. Played the first game of Caverna. Caverna is a worker placement game by Uwe Rosenberg. It's a really good game. It's better than Agricola in my opinion. So you basically build. You have your here. So that's your own board. So you have your cavern here, and then there's the forest here. So you can build some tiles there, you can build some tiles there, but first you have to free the forest and so on. There are different resources, different animals, like in a lot of Uwe Rosenberg's game, like in Agricola. For me, this is the streamlined version of Agricola, the better version of Agricola, less random, and it felt good. It felt good. I'm still not convinced that those are as good nowadays that people might have think like when Agricola came out, it was like, whoa, everybody was blown away. Nowadays, there are so many different worker placement games. So it's a good game. It's a solid game, Caverna. I think it's better than Agricola, but it's not like it's blown my mind. So that's Caverna. I think rate this is 7. Then we played Marco Polo 2. So I played Marco Polo 1 in the past, and I really liked it. I really liked Marco Polo 1, and then they make Marco Polo 2, and my friend bought it, and It's just Marco Polo 2. It's just better. It's just better. Why is it better? Because of this map. Traveling in Marco Polo 2 has become, well, it's not that it's easier, but you have more possibilities. In the past, once you went go on the top, for example, in Marco Polo 1, you couldn't go down when you're in the middle here somewhere. You had to go all the way around. It was really difficult. Here you can just go doop, 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 doop. It's awesome. It's not easy. You have to pay a lot of costs, and there are like this the mechanisms, the symbols which you can buy in certain areas. It's fine. It works really nice, and you are way more flexible. Really like this. I really like this. Marco Polo is an awesome game. It's a dice placement game. Sure, sometimes you get shitty dice rolls and it sucks, but usually it doesn't happen like 3 times in a row, so you're fine. And you're gonna go around, use the worker placement spot. If you're the first one, it's good. If you're the second one, you have to pay based on the number of pips that you're gonna put here. For example, that guy is a second. Oh no, it's a black die. So yeah, you still have to pay 5 because you use a 5 here. So it's a really good game. If you like a dice placement game, with asymmetric player powers, ones of the best I've seen. So the power player powers are completely different. So they're gonna push you in one direction, and you should do this and you should do that. It's really nice. Some are just giving you more stuff. So they're all very strong, which is also one of the best points of this game. So I really like this one. I think I rate this a 9. Marco Polo 2. Then I played Tiny Towns. Well, Tiny Towns, the concept of Tiny Towns, that you're going to put some cubes down, and then once you have the cubes aligned so that it forms a special building. So for example, you need this shape with those colors, and then you can build this building. You can basically remove all of them and put this building instead, because it's this building instead. But then you're just working on a 4x4 grid. Once the game ends, once you're stuck and you can't build anymore. So the concept was pretty good. It sounded really good. But once I played it, I'm like, yeah, it's actually not that good. It looks like a polyamino game, but it's not. So yeah, I said it's an okay game. I think I rated 6. Yeah, it's an okay game, but I will sell my copy because I'm not so fond of it. That's it for my tabletop games. I played Magic the Gathering. Playing Magic the Gathering forever. This is I play Commander, so it's a multiplayer format just for fun. It's awesome. Playing Commander is just fun. You can play with all cards that exist. If there's a card that costs 9 mana that you're like, you will never play this in any 1v1 format, play it in Commander. That's the fun of it. You can just play everything. So I played that a bunch of times. Then I put Star Realms at the end because I played this not physically but on Steam. What I love about Star Realms is the game is super fast and the AI on Steam is super good. So you lose more than half of the time. This is fun, and it's a great engine building game. It's a deck building game. Sorry, you just build your deck, and then it's just a great game. It's just a great game. And then I saw Splendor on one of the top 100 lists that I saw, and I'm like, maybe I should play. And I played 2 more games of Splendor. It's a good game. It's a fun, small game. I like to play it online because it's super fast. Okay, and that's it for the games I've played in January 2022. Thank you.